Associate Professor of Conflict Resolution at the Doha Institute and joins us now here on the set. You know, when we look at what's been going on in the last sort of 72 hours, a lot has happened. So let's just begin with the statement that's coming out from Iran and from its security services about the nature of the attack on Ismail Haniyeh and what they know about it. It seems to be statement and counter-statement at the moment from both outside of Iran and from within it.
Yeah. Well, let's first address the nature of the attack. And I think the nature of the attack, understanding whether it happened from within or the attack happened from outside, this is important for security purposes and for future considerations. But it doesn't help the position of the Iranian government to respond to the attack and the assassination of Haniyeh, as the Iranian government has a lot at stake to lose if they don't respond. One, because the sovereignty of Iran has been violated by this attack, and also it will determine the positioning of Iran and its relations to its allies. The acts of resistance in the region and whether Iran is capable and able to protect them in the future. So Iran cannot afford but to respond to this attack, and that's why we are seeing these statements coming from the Iranian officials confirming that Iran will be responding.
It is obviously a very embarrassing situation in one respect for Iran, but in terms of the retaliation that we're all expecting, what sort of timeline are we looking at? How long can Iran wait to still be seen as a credible ally of the Palestinians and certainly of giving Haniyeh's family, if that, some sort of closure?
Yeah, well, I think in the first place, it's about Iran now. It's not just about Ismail Haniyeh or the Palestinians, because it's the Iranians who have to respond and the government, and because this will address their ability to host officials in the future, whether it's Palestinians or others, because Haniyeh was assassinated when he was visiting Iran on Iranian soil, and that's where it matters. In terms of how long it can wait, I don't think that time is helping Iran in this case, because it cannot wait for long. Now, there is some sort of an understanding in my analysis that Israel or Netanyahu particularly escalated this in the last few days in order to escape the deal, the prisoners exchange deal that the negotiator were approaching, and it's becoming obvious that you can't obviously kill a chief negotiator that you are negotiating with. So there is some sort of silent and angry position within especially the United States about the escalation that Netanyahu has done in the past couple of days. And for that reason, I think Netanyahu is finding a way to escape such a deal and escalate, which is against the desire of many who are involved in this.
We've spoken to many analysts over the last few days about this particular issue of Netanyahu and why he did this now, considering the fact that he was in the United States recently. He spoke to a joint session of Congress, and some analysts believe that he was given the green light to proceed. But proceed in what manner is the definition that the Americans obviously are very unclear about, because they turned around and said, we didn't give him the green light for this.
Well, let's first agree that this is a gray area where there are a lot of speculations and analysis about the real position of the United States or the U.S. government on the latest escalation. In my view, we have to differentiate between two levels. One is that the military and intelligence and diplomatic protection of the United States of Israel. I think this has not changed in the past 10 months since this war started, and it's not going to change either, no matter how the escalation is happening, because at the end of the day, Israel is an ally or a colonial project that the United States is protecting. So it will not change on that level. Now, the changes will happen on the escalation and de-escalation, and when is the proper timing, which is here we're talking about the political positioning. In my view, I think the U.S. government at this time is more interested in de-escalation. One reason is the U.S. elections, but more than that, it's not just about the U.S. elections. The U.S. has lost a lot in terms of its image, credibility, double standard, conducts of moral and ethical politics on the world stage, especially comparing to Ukraine and others. So the cost the U.S. has incurred on many levels, financial, military, and image and credibility, has been huge in the past 10 months, and is not interested in continuing to paying this price to protect Netanyahu, because now, again, it's becoming obvious that it's Netanyahu who deliberately escalated to prevent a deal. And for that reason, I think, yes, there is probably a U.S. government position that's against the escalation, whether it's about assassination of Haniyeh or the second in command in Hezbollah, not because they're protecting Hamas or Hezbollah or they're interested in being in neutrals, but it's more about the high cost that the U.S. is continuing to pay. And there is a reason that the U.S. government is interested in stopping this. And for that reason, yes, there is a ground, in my view, to assume that there wasn't a green light from the U.S. position on this escalation.
We shall see what happens, certainly, in the coming days. Ibrahim Farhat, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.